AGORACOM Talks.
Your weekly go-to source for the best small-cap headlines for over 65 million investors since 2007. And now, we have breaking news coming in on several fronts across the small-cap landscape. Let's get right to it.
Absolutely. Some very interesting developments, definitely worth a closer look from investors. Maybe we should start with Quantum BioPharma.
Okay. Quantum BioPharma.
Trading on the NASDAQ. Under the ticker QNTM.
QNTM. Got it. What have they been up to?
Just dropped a headline. Quantum BioPharma's breakthrough beverage, unbuzzd, debuts in Puerto Rico through major regional distributor.
Unbuzzd. Interesting name. So what is it? Just another drink hitting the shelves?
Well, it's a beverage.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. They're really pushing this science-backed formula angle and clinical research validation.
Okay, so in a market full of wellness drinks, making a lot of claims, this one might actually have some science to back it up.
Exactly, that's what they're going for. Unbuzzd. It's actually developed by their licensee, Selling Nutrition, but Quantum BioPharma is the one making the moves.
And could this be big for investors?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, think about it. In a market with so much noise, so many products, actual clinical data could be huge. Builds trust with consumers. Could lead to much higher adoption rates.
Makes sense. So how are they getting this drink out there?
They've partnered up with Fusion Distribution Group for the launch in Puerto Rico.
Smart move.
Gives them instant access to a massive retail network.
Like, how big are we talking?
Well, we're talking Walmart,
Right.
Walgreens,
Yeah.
Costco, major supermarkets, even hospitality chains.
Wow, that's impressive reach.
Right. It's a powerful way to get the product out there, right into the hands of consumers.
Definitely. And it sounds like they have big plans. The CEO of Fusion, Eduardo Santacana, said their goal is to put unbuzzd within arm's reach of every consumer in Puerto Rico.
Ambitious for sure,
Yeah.
but they seem to be going for it.
And John Duffy, CEO of Selling Nutrition, called this launch a significant milestone.
It all points to a really well-planned strategy to enter the market.
So for investors, this could mean
It could mean we're looking at a scalable business model in a growing category. Functional wellness, the hot space right now.
very interesting. Let's shift gears a bit over to wireless communication, NuRAN Wireless. Trading on the CSE as NUR, they've been busy expanding their network in rural Africa.
Yeah, the headline reads, NuRAN Wireless expands network in rural Africa with 20 new sites in March.
20 new sites just in March. That's a lot of progress.
It is, yeah. It brings their total for 2025 to 40 new sites, on track to hit their goal of 204 sites by the end of June.
So they're moving fast. And what does that mean for investors?
Well, they've already met their revenue forecast for the current reporting period.
Really? That's great news. Ahead of schedule.
It is, and it tells us something about the demand for their services in these regions. They're not just building infrastructure, it's being used, it's generating revenue.
That's a key point. So this network as a service model they're using in sub-Saharan Africa seems to be working.
Seems to be. And that demand for connectivity in these underserved areas, it's just going up.
Right. So potentially a smart long-term play.
And they're projecting positive EBITDA by mid-2025.
So the growth could lead to some solid profits down the line.
That's what it's looking like. They're focused on rural communities. It's not just about social impact. It's a viable business model. And for investors,
Yeah.
that early revenue success, it's tangible evidence that the strategy is working.
All right, let's move on to something a bit different. Resource exploration.
ES Gold Corp, trading under the symbol ESAU.
They're making headlines with their exploration efforts up in Quebec.
Yeah, ES Gold pushes exploration boundaries with breakthrough subsurface imaging at Montauban Project. That's the one.
Sounds like they've discovered something big.
Could be. They use this technique called ambient noise tomography, ANT for short.
INT. Got it. And what did they find?
The survey went deep, over 800 meters,
Wow, that's deep.
double their initial target. And it's the deepest imaging ever done at this site, the Montauban Project.
So what does this mean for investors? Is it a big deal?
It could be. It opens up a lot of possibilities, discovering mineralized zones that were hidden before, undetectable.
That makes sense. So what's next?
They're developing a full 3D model based on this new data to pinpoint drilling locations for gold, silver, and base metals.
So this imaging tech could help them find the good stuff and avoid wasting time and money.
Exactly. It's a de-risking factor. For their whole exploration program, they get a clearer picture of what's underground. They can optimize their drilling.
Smart. And Brad Kitchen, the president of ES Gold, said they're entering a new phase of discovery powered by cutting-edge imaging tools.
I like that. It's a good way to put it.
And it seems like the timing couldn't be better. Gold and silver prices are high right now.
That's right. And ES Gold is updating their preliminary economic assessment, their PEA, to reflect those higher prices.
So if they find something big at these new depths,
It could be huge. The potential economic upside, it could be substantial.
definitely something to keep an eye on. Now let's talk about growth. Pyrogenesis Inc., trading on the TSX as PYR.
Pyrogenesis, okay.
They're reporting some strong numbers, driven by the global shift towards clean energy.
Pyrogenesis reports strong 2024 growth as global energy transition drives demand. That's the headline.
So what kind of growth are we talking about?
Their revenue went up 27% year over year, hit $15.7 million in 2024.
A solid increase.
Definitely. And their net loss went down significantly, showing they're getting more efficient as they grow.
And for investors, that's always a good sign.
Right. And they have a record backlog, $54.4 million. That's future revenue, basically. And 87% of that is in US dollars.
So they have a lot of business lined up,
Yeah.
and they're making good money from it.
Exactly. They also had a huge fourth quarter, 40% revenue increase, and they achieved positive net income and modified EBITDA.
So they're finishing the year strong. What's driving this success?
Well, they're positioned well. In the global energy transition, they provide plasma-based tech, all electric, to help heavy industries go green, like aluminum, aerospace, steel making. These industries need to cut their emissions.
Right. So Pyrogenesis is offering them a solution.
Exactly. And the market is responding. Their financial performance and backlog are proof. Like their CEO, Peter Pascali, said, they're well positioned for continued improvements.
Very interesting. They're riding the wave of sustainability, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, they're focused on providing clean alternatives for these big industries. It's a smart move. The demand is there, and it's only going to increase.
Makes sense. Okay, last but not least, Zephyro Methane Core, listed on the CBOE Canada. Ticker symbol ZEFI. They've been doing some important work in the energy sector, focusing on environmental cleanup.
Zephyro Methane Corp. Subsidiary completes critical oil and gas well remediation projects in Pennsylvania. That's the headline.
Or mediation, so cleaning up old wells.
Exactly. Their subsidiary, Plants and Goodwin, plugged 18 orphan wells in Pennsylvania.
18 wells, that's quite a few.
It is, and one of those wells was really close to a drinking water source.
Oh, that's not good.
It wasn't good, no. The well was deteriorating, already contaminated the water, and it was only 6 feet away from the house.
That's scary.
It is. That one well cost almost $500,000 to plug.
Wow. So these cleanups, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. And the CEO of Zephyro, Talal Debs, said it best. No family should ever have to question the safety of their drinking water due to an abandoned, deteriorating oil or gas well.
He's right. And this problem is bigger than we think. Millions of people live near these wells.
That's right. And many rely on private wells, so their water could be at risk.
It's a big concern, and it's a growing market for companies like Zephyro.
For sure. More and more attention is being paid to methane emissions and groundwater contamination. So demand for these remediation services, it's going up.
Right. As awareness grows.
Yeah.
And as regulations tighten.
And the cost of these projects, it's significant. That means a lot of potential revenue for companies that can do this work.
So there's money to be made. But more importantly, they're addressing a real problem.
Exactly. And the scale of this problem. Millions of wells, it's huge. It means long-term demand for these services.
And with more public funding and government focus, companies like Zephyro could see a lot of growth.
Yeah, if we consider the focus on environmental responsibilities these days and the potential for funding initiatives, both state and federal, to clean up these wells, it's a really compelling growth area within the broader energy services sector.
Great points. All right, let's sum things up. We covered a lot of ground today. Quantum BioPharma, or QNTM, launching unbuzzd in Puerto Rico with a strong distribution network and clinical research backing it up. NuRAN Wireless, NUR, expanding rapidly in rural Africa, already meeting their revenue targets, looking like a solid path to profitability.
And don't forget ES Gold Corp, ESO, making strides with deep subsurface imaging at their Montalban project. The potential for a significant resource discovery could be big.
Absolutely. Then we had Pyrogenesis Inc., PYR, posting strong financial growth, driven by the demand for their clean tech solutions. Their record backlog suggests a bright future. And finally, Zephyro Methane Corp, Jolly ZEI5, doing critical environmental remediation work, plugging those orphan wells, a sector with increasing support from both the public and regulators.
It's a lot to take in. But these headlines, They're just the starting point. For your own deeper research, the numbers don't lie. And the results we talked about, they can point you toward potential investment opportunities.
Exactly. Always do your own due diligence. But hopefully this deep dive has given you some interesting leads.
That's the goal.
Think about the bigger picture. We talked about new wellness products, global connectivity, mineral discoveries, clean energy, environmental cleanup. What stood out to you? What sparked your curiosity?
These are all stories with the potential to shape the future.
So dig a little deeper, explore these companies, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover some hidden value.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy investing.
See you next time.
Bye.